Hi guys, this is G18c bringing you an update video of my prime Glock 17 SAI Arms Costa RMR slide. Okay, now this slide is still relatively new, I think, but not many people have them. It's just because Glock 18s right now are very hard to find. I mentioned that in my previous video. So anyways, I'm just going to quickly go over what I've done, what parts I'm using right now, what custom work I've done, and how it performs. You may have already saw how it performs using a stock Tokyo Marui mag, which is this, just a regular one, okay. And the other one that I used with a extended base plate looks like this. This is actually modified, has a modified valve and a 9-ball lip seal. And I actually modified the fill valve too, but that doesn't affect its performance. But anyways, so let's go over just the external parts, okay? So ready fire magwell. Believe it or not, this is just still the stock Tokyo Marui Glock frame. I decided to use that just because I don't want to spend too much money buying stuff for it. I just basically stippled it, did the trigger pins, modified them a little bit to make them shiny. Yeah, and that's about it. And this is a real steel Surefire X300 Ultra, which is why it sticks out so much. Of course, the prime slide, the PTT RMR, as I mentioned before, this is the China copy ones. These are one of the few RMRs that actually last. I can actually fire the pistol using this. However, if you actually turn on the red dot, it creates a very gigantic fireball, which is very hard to aim with. Was it off? Oh, right, oh, never mind. My battery's dead, that's why. But anyways, and let's move on. So these iron sights also came with the prime. So yeah, that's it for externals. Let's go over internals now. So internally, everything here is completely stock Tokyo Marui, okay? Stock Tokyo Marui, hammer spring, sear, trigger bar, everything, okay? Now, you may be asking how I fitted the ready fire trigger on it. Well, I actually custom modified the trigger bar. So what I did was I shaved off a part of it and I modified it just enough that the trigger can still move on it. So that's why I have a ready fire trigger on it, okay? And I did leave a little bit of trigger slack, okay? This is the trigger slack. Okay, I do that for most of my Glocks. I just like having a little bit of trigger slack. Just a little bit though. You know, you want that trigger to be as short as possible, but I like to have a little bit of slack left. Anyways, or take up. So that's pretty much all I did. By the way, if you actually one day get like a guns modified trigger or ready fire trigger or an Ace 1 arms trigger, you will find that the area for the trigger bar screw hole to be very tight fit, which is why you have to shave it away. To be honest, it's not something that that I didn't do on video, just because it's actually relatively easy to do. You just need the right tools, that's all. Okay, so that's it for the top, and I'm using stock Tokyo Marui slide release. Okay, I didn't change much. Oh, and one of the custom works that I did was that, or modifications I did, was two parts here. Is getting rid of the nubs on the railings. The reason why I do this is because when I fit most metal slides, I normally like to remove this just because they tend to make the slide very tight. So that's why I remove those two bumps. And the other thing that I do is I remove something that is, you don't have to do this, but this is something that I personally do to all of my Glocks, is right here. I don't know if you noticed, there's a bit of a gap or an area that I filed away. Now, the reason why I do that is because I always notice that the tip of any metal slide normally touches the frame here, okay? So that's why I decided to completely remove that, and it's not so wide that you can see right through it, but it's just enough that the slide is not actually touching it unless I push it down, okay? So, and let me quickly show you, this is the side-to-side play at the back. The side-to-side play at the back is really minimum, okay? But the side-to-side play at the front is a lot, okay? Can you, wait, let me keep it still. Sorry. I don't know if you can tell, the front part moves quite a bit, okay? As you can see, the outer barrel actually moves along with it, and therefore the inner barrel moves too. So sometimes my shots are very far off just because of this. It doesn't always stay consistent. So that's one thing I have to say that's bad about the prime slides, is that if you want accuracy out of this, you won't get it. Like, I thought it was a me issue, but then later I found out that the slide tolerance at the front is actually horrible. so it actually moves side to side. I did not modify the railings on the side, by the way. It's just naturally like this. I believe I also mentioned this in my previous video. And as you can see, the barrel has been scratched a bit. And if I didn't mention earlier in the video, the barrel is actually fluted. Very, very nice. Nice kit overall. Expensive, but not bad. Okay. And okay, so here's the thing I want to quickly talk about is the also the internals of my slide. So the internals of my slide, I'm using a Guns Modified blowback housing unit. Now, I say that this is almost a must-need upgrade. The reason why is because this thing weighs almost 30 grams, okay? Precisely, it weighs 31.6 grams, I believe it was, with the battery. It is, and with the screws, it's really, really heavy. So you have to understand, it's very difficult to get the slide to move. Just to put things in perspective, the stock Tokyo Marui Glock 17 blowback housing unit weighs about 40 grams, I believe. Or very near 40 grams. You know what? I don't remember. Let me just quickly check that. Just give me a second. I'm not going to take off the RMR off my prime slide, but then it's very, very... Well, it's pretty... But I know the weight because I just recently measured it. Okay, this is... oh, by the way, I don't have my Glock 17 blowback housing unit anymore, so I'm just taking the Glock 18 one. They're relatively similar. Anyways, this is already 440 grams by itself with a piston. Okay, the blowback housing unit on the Guns Modified one is about half of that almost, so that's why I decided to use that. If you combine this and use it with the RMR, you have no idea how heavy this is. That's why I think the Guns Modified blowback housing unit is a must. The piston, I'm using a modified garter piston. I flared it a little bit so then there won't be as much gas leakage, but there's still leakage, okay? If you notice me firing my Glock, there's still a little bit of gas spewing out from the back, okay? And these are the prime, parts to disable the Glock 18 full auto function. Stock Tokyo Marui hop-up with a Maple Leaf 50-degree Delta hop-up, and a PDI type bore, and a garter recoil spring. This garter recoil spring, don't use this to tell the truth. There are many better recoil springs out there. I'm only using this because this is a spare part that I just so happen to have. I polished off the rod, but it's still very sandy. If I take it out right now and actually let you hear it, it's actually very gritty. I don't know if you can hear this, but it is a very gritty feeling, which is why I personally don't like it. And not to mention the spring is actually a lot stronger than you think. So unless you got your gas efficiency and all your seals right, don't use the garter's recoil spring. I don't have it perfect yet. I shouldn't be using it, but it's the only option I have for now. And the slide smoothness is not perfect. Okay, it still gets caught. Okay, but it snaps back every now and then. But the recoil spring is so strong that it sort of overpowers that. I really don't like using the recoil spring to compensate for that, but then that's the only option I have for now. And again, I got this mainly to collect, not really to shoot around with. But anyways, this is loaded up with green gas right now. With this can. Very common in Hong Kong. They're like the cheapest stuff. Apparently that gas is very low pressured and very bad. Apparently because these things cost about 100 Hong Kong dollars for 3 cans. So let me see. How much is that? That's about what, 10 to 13 or 14 US dollars. So it's really, really cheap. Apparently it's supposed the cooldown of it is horrible, but whatever. So this is with a stock Tokyo Marui mag. Okay, so that's the best I can do. That's a little louder than I thought. Nope, that's it. Yeah, my mag is super, super cold. Okay, and let me see, where's my modified mag? Okay, this is my modified mag with a 9-ball lip, modified KM valve with a modified floating system, and a actual support suspension to actually help it. When you push it, it's much easier to push. It feels very soft. Okay, you can actually sort of begin to move it before even though it's not supposed to do that. That's on purpose, by the way. Shooter's design base plate, modified fill valve so that there's no leakage. So you notice that if I put my gas can in here, it behaves a lot like the WE. You see there's no gas leakage like a stock Tokyo Marui mag. If you use a Tokyo Marui mag, sometimes when you put the fill valve, you hear that leaky sound, okay? So I did modify these mags quite extensively. Anything with these kind of markings, I modified it. So this is the gas efficiency with a modified mag. Okay, supposedly, in theory, this is supposed to be a little bit better. See? Oh, notice the gas at the back here is spewing out. So take load here. Yeah, can you see that just now? There was like a cloud of gas. So the seals are not perfect. Okay, so that's out. Wait. It's much colder. I'm not used to doing full auto, or not full auto, like continuous shooting like that. But anyways, that's just to show you that that's the gas efficiency of this. This is. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. If you guys intend to use this for skirmishing, you can do better. You can just note that these little tiny upgrades, which is barely nothing. Like these things are actually quite affordable for Glock 18, and those are normally relatively core upgrades. And it already performs okay. Like all things considered, it wasn't all that bad. You have to understand, you using a almost 30 gram RMR, with everything about this is heavy, okay? And you just have to understand that getting this to work very well, it is sort of difficult. To be honest, even if I fully upgraded this, I anticipate me having problems getting the slide to go super smooth. Oh, by the way, if you loosen the tolerance too much, the gas leakage or spill will probably get worse. Okay, that's one of the reasons why I didn't do it. That's why if you look at all the railings on my Glock, they're still mostly black color. Oops, my bad. Okay, so that's the best I can do right now. Let me know what you guys think. Please feel free to ask questions, comment, like, and subscribe. I also have a Facebook page. I'll probably be doing more updates on this in the future because I do sort of intend to use this as a sidearm. Oh, and just one last thing. I got some questions about how will this fit in some holsters. Well, I have a Raven Concealment Kydex holster right over here. This is made by Raven Concealment. Spec'd for real steel. Okay. Now, I already know it's gonna hit this a little bit, so I just want to point this out to you right now. That does fit, but notice that the RMR is hitting here a little bit. This is normal. Okay. I believe one of the solutions for this is to get a Griffin ornament or Griffin. No, we're not a Griffin ornament. Griffin Industries, I believe. They make a holster that specifically addresses this problem with an RMR cut. By the way, the reason why you probably want a body shield is just because if you think about it, this thing will be touching you otherwise. Okay, so you may want to think about it. If you use Kydex, that's a problem for you. If you use any type of holsters, you're going to have problems anyways, just because you need a special area for the RMR to fit in, which most holsters don't have. If you're loaded, then you can consider getting a Safariland. Maybe that's an option for you. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please, peace.